Welcome to our next session. And this session is about having a single source of truth, building a single source of truth using the master data management. And it is an SAP-Centric master data management solution for assets and asset-intensive industries, right? And what happens if we don't have the right master data? So we have seen on the just before the keynote, we heard from Imad that about it is all about reducing inventory costs. It is all about reducing maintenance budgets or maintenance costs, and also reducing the services costs, right? And we have the speakers today from PiLog who will help us understand using a customer case study that they have driven on how to achieve these objectives, how to achieve this optimization across asset management and supply chain management, right? And we have Imad, Dr. Imad Syed, CEO of PiLog, speaking with us. And we also have Gero Bieser, a former SAP utilities expert, also joining us, right? So I would say the stage is yours.
Thank you. A quick intro, Dr. Gero, if you can.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm working with PiLog now. I have been with SAP for about 28 years, and I see some familiar faces here in the audience that I know from this time. And I'm really looking forward to work with PiLog on this and drive especially this forward for utilities.
So what we'll be covering as part of this session, short session, is how do you establish a roadmap to single source of truth? Because everybody wants the single source of truth or single version of truth, but how do you do that? And we have been doing this for nearly 30 years, and we have established certain practices and a blueprint of that. So that is what we are going to deep dive into. And there's quite a lot of things, but we'll cover all of them as part of it. But before that, we would like to hear, the insights. Dr. Gero has been in the industry for, quite a long time, and we would like to hear his perspective on it and how it has transformed. Why is it now, and what are the insights from his experience perspective?
Yeah, thank you. I think we talked about already, as in every conference at the moment, every article, a lot about AI, but this is of course also not completely new. So when we look at the last 10 years, we of course did something with machine learning. That means AI already 10 years ago, predictive maintenance, and we even had an SAP solution called predictive maintenance back then. And there were quite a few projects, many pilot projects, prototype projects, and some of them were successful, some were not successful, but I think for nearly all of them, it showed that there was always a massive effort to first get the data right before you could analyze any transformer or any wind turbine or whatever asset you wanted to analyze. And I think an estimation normally was that 50% or more than 50% of the time was just to get the data and cleanse the data, and then you can start to build something on with AI. As I said, this worked out, of course, in many cases, but it, of course, delayed transformation. It's also, if you want to scale it, it's not very efficient if you reinvent the wheel every time. And in addition, we have also these dependencies to other SAP solutions that we heard before already. We talked about intelligent asset management, asset performance management, field service management. We have to link all these solutions. And if every project does it on its own, it doesn't make too much sense. So this is an outcome of the last 10 years of working at SAP in the area of asset management, especially for utilities. And why is it now becoming even more important? So I think we cannot go on with this prototype mode anymore. If you want to have more and more AI projects, it doesn't make sense as everybody, as I just said, reinvents the wheel again and again. So we have to take care that we're not working in this pilot mode, as it's said here, number one, and cleans the data per use case. But we have one approach where the data is cleaned, and then all these AI projects can work on top of this. We have to build, as it's also said here, reusable standards, look for taxonomies, and define this at the same point in time, or probably even better before we do all these AI projects. And not only that we have more and more AI projects, but of course what it's making even more complicated or have more opportunities, but also more dangers if we now move into the area of agentic AI. In this case, we're not focusing on one turbine anymore and just do asset performance management on it, but we might want to include also the procurement part of it. We want to go over the whole workflow of this thing. But this means, of course, we have to have all the systems below this have to have talk the same data, have the data consistency. So that means we have lots of opportunity here, but if we put agentic AI on wrong data, then it will be only a big chaos at the end. So therefore, I think it's even more important now if we go to the direction of enterprise AI, agentic AI, we have to have data governance, data quality solutions in place already, so that it's not the critical bottleneck anymore for all these projects that we have to go through. And you can hopefully tell us how we do this.
Yeah. And if you could look at that greater than 60% AI project failure rate, it's massive, but still, again, we know what's the root cause of it, but still we take it very lightly. Still, we believe that, okay, no problem, we can use AI to clean the data. Yes, you could do that, but if you have trained it properly, then only you would be able to do it. And like what Dr. Gero was mentioning, the amount of time it takes to build AI model is probably less than 10%. However, the data collection, curation, training and putting it into enterprise grade AI model is 90%. So everybody is latching on to that 10%. Okay, let's just throw something. And by the way, building prototypes is very easy. We have a lot of platforms that have been evolving in the past several months or years, wherein you could build a MVP, minimum viable product, or a POC in less than 4 hours. But if you would like to transform that into an enterprise grade production deployment, and that's where that failure rate is. So today we will be talking again more and more on having or establishing the single source of truth. Prior to this session, you might have heard from the previous session, there were disparate systems, different systems. Why did they choose a single source of truth? Because they could not move forward with that legacy of different technologies, different data sources. So that's also a very good success story, that why did they brought everything into one source of system. Now, poor master data, everybody knows, we have been in master data domain for 30 years. We have been trying to advocate, preach, recommend, plead, request, command, enforce for the last 30 years. Majority of them who have listened to us, they are completely in a different phase now. They are taking the lead in digital transformation. They are able to adapt it, but those who haven't done, they are suffering it. And we have some customers who comes back after a couple of years, and some of them even came back after 10 years saying that, guys, you gave us very good blueprint at that point in time. Can we maybe do it now? Can we do a restart? But they don't realize that they are losing the 10 years or 3 years or whatever the duration that they are missing out on it. So what are the things that we look from a business impact perspective? Even this morning as well, I mentioned that we are not here to sell the features of a solution. We are trying to address the value leaks of it. We are trying to address the poor decision making that is coming out of the bad data. We are here to bring in the outcome based business impact. So now if you look at duplicate spares, and you would see also some numbers, and the numbers or the stats what we are putting down are from our own experience. This is not from any internet or somebody else study. This is our. So duplicate spares, it's a biggest killer. And if you really don't believe it, you open up any of the balance sheets of the large organizations, see their working capital. You would see that in tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, and working capital optimization is the biggest pain point for several of the CFOs. That's a pain point. They always would like to reduce it, but when they go back to the maintenance, when they go back to the procurement, they say that no, we want it. And every time they are building a new facility or maybe onboarding a new asset, they actually onboard all the spares along with that even though they have it. Yes, I understand that sometimes you need additional quantities, but you have the science behind that, engineering behind that for economic order quantity, that you can optimize it and you can actually keep it at a minimum levels of it, but they don't do it. So that's actually a silent killer. And then obsolete inventory and emergency POs. Very recently, about probably 9 weeks ago, we did a project where we had over $200 million inventory, and we could find that obsolete inventory is about $12 million obsolete. It was never ever consumed in the last 10 years, not 2 years, 3 years, never ever consumed. How did we discover? We have the AI models to identify the criticality of the spare based upon the process as well as the asset, and from that perspective, and when we challenge that, and by the way, that was not an aggressive number was much higher. This was very liberal number, but we were confronted by the maintenance guys, procurement guys, warehouse guys that no, this cannot be. When we proved it after a workshop, they digested it and they are still digesting it, but there are certain actions that need to be taken now. So those are the things. And then emergency POs, this is also another killer. If anybody would like to see whether they have procurement leaks or not, they can quickly have a look at how many POs that they have issued unplanned, emergency, just a risk of fixing breakdown equipment, or probably during the shutdowns or during the turnaround time. So you would find a lot of that. That's a value leak, and sometimes you spend 4 to 5 times to 10 times as well on the emergency POs. Why are you doing that? Because you do not have the right master data managed within your repository that you have planned upfront for. And incomplete equipment hierarchies. Most of the times, if you really look at it, you have pump station, pump. What is that pump? Because there are several different types of pumps. Centrifugal pumps are there. There are different types of pumps that are meant for different operating capacity, different specifications, different models, different purpose, but you don't define it. If you define it that way, you won't be able to identify it, because the characteristics of a centrifugal pump differs from a diaphragm pump to other pumps. So you really have to define your asset structure. Otherwise, you're going to have just pump cataloged as part of your master data. And bill of materials for that. Again, whenever PiLog is doing a project that is relevant to the, be it maintenance optimization or plant maintenance strategy, we don't look at asset as just a single entity. We look at asset with its associated objects, such as the function location, equipment bill of materials, maintenance plans, maintenance items, task list, failure modes, and everything, because we don't want to onboard asset alone with just the hierarchy, but we would like to bring it. So that's also a silent killer, and we can go and query any of the systems who says that we have really the nice data. You would find these problems apparently, unless they have a single source of truth. And poor work pack quality, because if you do not have the right work packages that are defined properly for shutdown or that, and you won't get the right stuff delivered as well. So those are the silent killers. Now, when we build this entire foundation of our master data strategy or establishing a single source of truth, we have taken help of several standards, because standards are designed for interoperability, adaptability, depending upon different industries. But these are the 6 standards that we practice day in and day out. Starting from ISO 55000, everybody knows that is for the asset management. So we have the principles of ISO 55000, ISO 8000. This is for the master data quality. I'm not sure how many of you know that there is a data quality standard that also need to be brought into the organizations or into the practices. And then ISO 29002, we are talking about autonomous AI. We are talking about exchanging massive amount of data between different systems, but without applying 29002, you won't be able to exchange the data autonomously across different systems or different industries. So that's the standard, another standard that we bring in. Then ISO 81346, this is actually a very, very beautiful standard. a foundation now for industrial system object as part of SAP. SAP for the first time, probably I must say that they have invested in the right engineering standard 81346. I am really fan of that, because SAP always leaves out or gives that choice to the customers and partners to adapt whatever it is, but this is the first time they brought in, and it was earlier brought into APM, now it is in S4, which means it is as part of the foundation, and without this foundation you won't be able to have a different view or different perspective of the asset from a functional or a location or a product perspective. So that's also a very, very good standard. It's hard to understand now by several customers and partners, but we are getting there. We are enabling people as well around us. And then ISO 14224, who doesn't know about this reliability standard? Everybody knows about it, but are we really maintaining all the 9 levels of it? Are we maintaining only 4 levels of it? Or is it really completely aligned with 14224? So that's also something that we have built over a period of time, and all these standards are embedded into our taxonomy and embedded into our solution, and this solution is fully integrated with the SAP ecosystem. And then the last one is ISO 15926, life cycle management or life cycle integration. Handover process should have actually adapted this standard, but handover is just a throwover, or they just leave the documents on the floor and then they run away, be it from an OEM perspective or EPC's perspective. So you don't have to really worry about it, but why I'm mentioning is that standards at least give you a direction. Those does not prescribe, but at least they describe how you should do. Then what are the building blocks for operations excellence? I mean, we have seen in organizations where there is a center of excellence, but that center of excellence does not even have a centralized foundation of master data. So we look at these 4 things. One is the plant maintenance. From the perspective of the plant maintenance, when we look at it, if you really would like to move forward, like that BC Hydro organization has done, you really need to implement the entire SAP EAM portfolio of it. So when we talk about that, equipment records, function locations, bill of materials, maintenance plans, maintenance strategies, and everything. And once you have that, then you would be able to build the reliability. Without having the first foundation, you won't be able to build the reliability of the assets on that. So failure mode analysis, FEMIA, root cause analysis, maintenance optimization, asset criticality, all those things are relevant to the reliability of it. And if we really, any organization would like to embark on a journey of operational excellence or maintenance optimization, this is what they will have to follow. Inventory and spares management. It's not just the materials that you have in stock, but also those urgent materials that you are not keeping it or that you have outsourced. You also need to have a system of record for that. And then system objects. Different system objects are there: functional structures, location structures, and this is the RDS 81346 standard. So those are just the examples of that. And the blueprint. What do we need from a blueprint perspective for a single source of truth? Like I said, over couple of decades we have built this. We have the methodology, iVision implementation methodology that we use to implement single source of truth programs. So govern master data. So when we are talking about it, don't just govern as silos, govern whatever is associated with asset completely, even govern even the OEM of it, vendors and suppliers who are supplying it, because during your supply chain crisis, that's the data that is going to help you, whether you have the local vendors, whether you have the global vendors or foreign vendors, from where you can actually get it at the right price. Then the second one is SAP-Centric integration. PiLog solution. In fact, our blueprint, we have 99.9% of our customers are on SAP platform, SAP ecosystem. That's the reason we have built over 220 integration points just with SAP solutions, 220. And that covers the entire supply chain management, asset lifecycle management. Those are the integrations that we have. And not only that, even with the APM, we have a FSM, we have. So we have the integrations for the entire IAM portfolio of SAP, which is Intelligent Asset Management of it. Then AI-enabled quality. I mean, once you have the massive data, because we have the massive data, volumes of the data, we have already trained our models with over 200 million records, unified records of it, and that's how we could get to 25 million golden records, and we are continuously training them. Our models are mostly trained, when there is less overhead or during the off hours, it gets trained, and then it is ready for us. So AI enabled data quality. One of the concerns that we have seen is that we have only the model and make, and we do not have a lot of information available as part of our system of record. Don't worry, even with the model and make, we'll be able to supplement and complement the additional information that is required as a minimum to operate SAP EAM. So that's the AI enabled quality we can bring in, and you don't even have to worry about the records what we have, because those have been verified. Every month we are adding, as well as we are also removing some of the records that are not relevant or that are outdated. So that's the AI enabled. And then operating model, we definitely need to have the right stewardship, governance, policies. Just a while ago we were having a discussion. To start a program like this, you need subject matter experts, at least a few of them as part of core team. Otherwise you won't be able to embark on it, because others won't be able to control and manage this entire program. So from our customer case studies, whatever we have, all of that amalgamated, combined of it, if you really look at it, what is the quantified outcomes and the ROI? From a inventory cost reduction, over and over again, about 28 to 30%. Again, if you don't believe, give us a sample site of it, we will run it, we will show it to you, we will prove, and then you can scale up. But this is something that we have done over and over again. And maintenance cost reduction, 20 to 25, in certain cases even it is much more. And then procurement cost reduction, arresting the free tech spend, emergency orders, having all the spares and materials that are cataloged linked. So that gives you. And then equipment availability, it is actually between 29 to 34% is the overall equipment availability improvement uptime. And then OEE 24 to 28%, and then inventory reduction 15 to 35%, and lowering the reactive maintenance. That's also another thing. And then contractor productivity, because the instructions, the work instructions that you put as part of your task list is what you are going to get from the contractor. Because if you tell him to replace only maybe a seal or a bearing or that, he is going to only do that because he's being paid for that. That's why your task list and your operations need to be optimized. That master data need to be optimized. And then how can you amplify your SAP investment today? I know that asset management is a core topic, and it has also reached the board level topic. So if you are embarking on a journey of SAP Intelligent Asset Management or FSM or even SAP Business Data Cloud, this is the right time for you to start putting down the foundation and underneath principles within your master data program. So this is something that I would like you to remember next Monday when you are back in your offices. Master data as a control plane. You cannot just, like Dr. Gero mentioned, you cannot just fix the data per project. You really have to fix it at scale, and adapt the trained and contextualized AI models. And if you really would like to see how far are you with your data quality, please send us your data, sample data. We will give you a free data health assessment, data quality score, and then you can make a decision. Thank you. That's it now. But just one quick announcement. We are celebrating 30 years. I think I mentioned this morning as well. So in the show floor, you are welcome to join us, be part of this celebration. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
PiLog, 30 years of excellence.